Andrew Tate is going to jail. He's charged with the R word. You can't say it at the beginning of a YouTube video. And he's cooked. It's completely over. Now, there is a diabolical situation that's unfolding. If you don't know who this is, I will catch you up very, very briefly. But if you don't know what's actually going on, you are in for the ride of your lifetime. All right, listen, I know that a lot of people like Andrew Tate. I am not one of those people, personally. Being charged with rape actually is one of those things that is a bit of a turnoff, in my opinion. Now, the thing is, Laura Southern is a conservative media personality, human creature, and let's just say she kind of disappeared for a while, and she kind of came back to drop a bomb. Good morning. Time to pour gasoline on what's left of my reputation and strike the match for all for a cause I should have committed to a long time ago, the truth. This is not real life. This is not real life is a memoir about the total unfiltered chaos behind the scenes of my time in the media. From an evangelical upbringing and a steady diet of Fox News to going viral and playing my first part in media disinformation to meeting with terrorists, neo-Nazis, intelligence agents, and political crime rings. There's coke binges, MDMA diplomacy with enemies, nuclear-grade marriage meltdown, and a trail of scandals across 5 continents. I was arrested in Turkey, Morocco, banned from the UK, and maybe violated international sanctions. I wouldn't admit that, but okay. Finally, a psychotic break, addiction, and dark art of conspiracy. If you're someone I met along the way and you're thinking, wait, am I in this book? Relax. Unless you committed a crime or did something genuinely insane, you're probably fine. If anything, I'm the one under the microscope. I still have no idea how much trouble I'll be in with the government, let alone everybody else, for publishing this. I guess we'll find out. No, I won't be doing interviews, don't ask. I wrote this book to claw my way back to reality. I hope it helps. You do the same. Nothing but love, Lauren. And then a link to her Amazon book. So immediately, I think it's a giant grift. I call immediate cap. That's my first thought. I think you are a giant grifter, and I think it's insane. It's insane. You disappear, you humiliate yourself, you ruin your reputation, you come back with a book of all the truth that you've uncovered, and she actually released a few chapters publicly. All right? She's out here. I decided to publish a few chapters of my book for free, as I did not write them to profit. Bullshit! I wrote them for my part in the story and what they are. Interesting stuff. Here's a link to some of the chapters that were released for free. Do you know what's in the chapters that she released for free? She accuses Andrew Tate of raping her. So Andrew Tate responds, chooses the number of chapters about me to release for free to get attention so she could sell the memoirs of promiscuity. Coincidence, I'm sure. I'm glad you admit you're a drug addict in this post. That might help why you forgot all about the texts you sent begging to see me again. Should I release them in my book? Sluts who begged for me. Now, I'll be real. This is crazy. This is an insane fucking situation, and we are gonna get to the very bottom of it, because this is actually my favorite kind of content. Now, I know what you're all thinking.
Let's up those numbers!
We are all thinking, let's up those numbers. That is what we are all thinking right now. Definitely subscribe. We got to get those numbers up. This is my favorite content. 2 retards fighting! Woo! This is my favorite content ever. Literally, if you're missing out on the 2 retards fighting drama, you are in the wrong place. That has got to be my favorite source of content on the internet. 2 retards fighting is easily my favorite fucking type of content ever. And here we have a classic example of 2 retards fighting. Now, I want to show you a little bit about Andrew Tate before I tell you my opinion on the Lauren Southern allegations. All right, so this is Andrew Tate. This is a video compilation made by Milk Bar TV. All right, proof Andrew Tate is a human trafficker. Now, we're not going to watch all of it, but you have to know a little bit about this guy for context.
But the majority of my money wasn't made in fighting. My money was actually made in the pimp game.
A pimp game, right? Remember, this guy is a conservative influence on people. This is a guy that pops out and is like, yo, all of you men need conservative values to buy Bugattis and get rich. You need to have conservative values and believe in God. And then he's out there making money in the pimp game.
Pimp is a human trafficker.
Can you get it from my position? Pimp game. Having sex with girls is all good, but how do you get them to do as you say, make you money, obey you, allow you to cheat on them in front of their face, and still love you?
Yeah, so this guy is a dog shit human. Hot take?
That's the game.
Pimps for themselves believe that they are managers of prostitutes.
The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. The PhD course is my recruitment system.
PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm.
There are multiple types of pimps out there, and those would be a Romeo pimp, also known as a finesse pimp or a lover boy.
I'm accused of using a method of human trafficking called the lover boy method.
Romeo pimps are pimps that use manipulation through flattery, through finesse.
Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me.
Sounds like pimping to me.
And that's how I got rich.
Yeah.
Through a lover boy method.
Like he straight up admitted it until he was arrested for it.
To exploit and manipulate their victim.
I had women who would work for me and make $100,000 a year and give it all to me.
They want to
Very
gain
nice.
the trust and the love of their victim.
There's no such thing as having girls who work for you who you've not fucked.
What? This is disgusting. Look, as a man with conservative values myself, this is gross. This is absolutely disgusting.
Possible. You have to fuck them and they have to love you. It's essential to the business.
And then when they
Holy
are
shit.
starting to groom and manipulate their victim,
And you have to realize he allegedly had pimps that worked, he had girls working for him that were as young as 15. Okay? Now, again, I'm not calling him a pedophile because he was only charged with rape, not pedophilia yet. Just want to make this clear. I'm not slandering him because he sues everybody. All right? I'm just saying, not calling him a pedophile. But there are allegations that they started when they were 15 years old, and he was charged with rape multiple times, I'm pretty sure.
You continue as normal, no mention of webcam.
the victims themselves feel so deeply connected to their Romeo pimp that they're willing to do these things without question.
Victimă, dacă eu n-am spus că sunt o victimă. Stângă tatuajul ăsta care scrie Tate Girl.
Right, so he would make them get the tattoo Tate Girl on their bodies to prove that he owns them.
Take over everything. No one's driving my cars but me. It's like my women. Put my name on them. For life. Boom. Done.
There is also gorilla pimps. Gorilla pimps are definitely pimping through heavy hands.
Beating with what?
Yeah, this video is crazy.
With what? A belt because you're a jerk. Show me the bruises.
Your
Show me the bruises because he whacked them with a belt.
victims, when it comes to gorilla pimps, will have visible bruising. They will have scars. They will definitely exhibit outer trauma
Right, so this is Andrew Tate counting the bruises that he inflicted upon him.
and fear of men in general.
That's right, lock the door, you knew I was going to beat the out of you. If you behaved, I wouldn't have to hit you, would I?
And
If she would have behaved, he wouldn't have had to hit her.
then you come across the CEO pimps. CEO pimps believe in themselves as entrepreneurs.
With me, with webcam, I saw dudes giving their money to girls. I can't compete with the girls. I ain't got titties. Okay, so how can I get in between?
They look at the pimping and hoe model as a business model to make money.
Yeah, my approach to women has always been how to get money.
I was all about trying to get paid.
Nice.
Like I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house to make me money.
Yeah, so that's a shitbag of a human being. Hot take. A barbaric shitbag, pimp, rapist. And listen, allegedly. I'm not accusing him of any of these things.
That's what I wanted.
CEO pimps love to scale their business. And to scale their business, they're extremely business savvy within themselves.
Where's the money in? Legal shit is a cost. We're not interested in costs until we've seen the money in. Do not get legal before you get rich.
Pimps that use the CEO pimping type of model, who think of themselves as businessmen, will teach their victims to market themselves across all social media platforms, to include marketing themselves on campsites.
So social media is the easiest way to get people to sign up to your OnlyFans. Put your OnlyFans link in the bio. So it's either Instagram, Twitter, it doesn't matter. There are other places you can get subscribers, but this is the easiest way to get global subscribers.
Specifically within this time where we
crazy.
have been facing COVID across the country, we saw a dramatic shift of where traffickers would continue to push their victims through the cam video sites, making as much money as possible.
Because Corona came, it was locked down. I got 20 more girls.
And so you know what he does? You know what he does when Corona happens? Just takes young women and turns them into whores to make him money on the internet. Again, This guy completely grifted into the conservative influencer sphere. Now, I get a lot of criticism, by the way, because a lot of people are like, but I actually like Andrew Tate. That's why I'm showing you this video. I am showing you this video because I think a lot of people, A, don't know, and B, don't really care because he's famous. And you have conservative influencers like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Benny Johnson. Like, a lot of these people platform and support this guy. Either they don't know or they don't care. But this is retarded depravity. This is not conservative values whatsoever. I need you to know what's happening, okay? Because I know I'm already going to get shit in the comments for this.
Also online, we scaled that back up to $300,000 or $400,000 a month.
It's probably through the roof right now, right? I mean,
Well,
it's gotta be way.
A pimp might initially start out as a lover boy, but then emphasize that he is more of a CEO and an entrepreneur once he has his victims in hand. If the victims end up retaliating or trying to leave or gain their independence from that specific pimp.
If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind as opposed to you.
How can she leave you? If you start making loads of money and the girl thinks, well, I want to leave and do this by myself, but you have the Twitter, you have the Instagram, you have the account on your phone, she can't do nothing.
All you got to do is own them.
As you say.
They might have to turn and become guerrilla pimps and move on into those tactics.
You can't stay in there forever.
Be in charge of her own phone contact with members who like
This is Andrew Tate's brother, Tristan.
her. You are setting yourself up to get scammed. And that has happened to me before. I went to the room, smashed the room up, told her I knew what she did. She sent me all the money, but that has happened to me before.
The common characteristic between all pimps is that they're exploiting other human beings for money.
I'd have sex with women to get their money. I didn't want to have sex with them. I was trying to get the money.
Yeah, because he's gay.
I don't even really want to fuck the girl. I want to know, like, she better love me afterwards. I need to get paid. I got rent.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's insane to admit this shit. And then make believe that this guy's a role model.
Yeah. How do I use these women to make money? Jesus.
All pimps have something in common, and that is the fact that their one main motivator is financial gain.
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end.
They're all...
Yeah, so again, this is a hedonistic, probably gay retard. All right.
Using force, fraud, or coercion to manipulate human trafficking victims into selling themselves and taking those profits directly from them.
I have met beautiful women with a good personality and thought she will make me money. I have to fuck this bitch. I don't want to have sex with her. I just need the money.
Prosecutors in Romania have filed formal charges.
So now he keeps claiming, by the way, he keeps claiming and yelling and screaming that, no, of course, they're all fake allegations against me. That's why the Romania government came to arrest me. All the allegations are false. That's what he keeps claiming.
Against Andrew Tate include rape, human trafficking, and forming an organized crime group.
So he is actually an alleged human trafficker and a charged rapist. And honestly, it's important to note that this is real. So when I saw these new Lauren Southern allegations come out against him, I felt like actually doing a bit of a look-see. You see, this is a breakdown of 14 separate girls that alleged that they were raped by this guy, and they all described the same fucking exact style. We're not going to be going through all of them, obviously, but look at this shit, bro.
Choke her so she can barely fucking breathe. Tell her she's yours forever.
Right, so that's what he says. He says you choked them.
The Romanian prosecutors say they have testimony from a woman who alleges she was strangled by Andrew Tate during sex.
That was when he put his hands around my throat.
And then he grabbed me by my neck. He was strangling me like so hard. I couldn't breathe.
Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't pass out.
So again, this is one of 14. There are 14 separate women just in this one thread alone that came out with allegations that he choked and raped them. And they showed bruise marks on their necks, that this was the reality, and bruise marks on their faces. It's crazy that people look up to this guy. It's absolutely insane. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you all of this is because Laura Southern wrote a book, released the book, and released the chapters for free, talking about how she was raped by Andrew Tate. Now, while I do believe that Andrew Tate is a rapist, I don't believe Laura Southern. Okay? All right. To be honest, I don't believe her. I don't think this is true. I think it's for clout. Listen, these other women, they're not getting clout out of this. They just want closure and justice, okay? These other women that come out about this. I do believe, in my opinion, that Andrew Tate is a rapist. But that Laura Southern, who's fucked everyone in the entire political commentary sphere. Bro, Laura Southern had sex with Destiny. Did you know that? With Destiny, bro. Okay. All right, listen. So as far as people go when I believe them in regards to, you know, who they're claiming that people raped them and stuff, Laura Southern is not the most credible source, bro. You know, like, I don't want to be rude here, but look me in the eye and tell me that the girl who said yes to this said no to Andrew Tate. All right, like, I'm not trying to be that guy. Okay, I'm not trying to be that guy. So while I wanted this to be incredibly clear that I do think Andrew Tate is a disgusting human being and a rapist, in my opinion, I don't believe Laura Southern at face value. I just don't. So this is Tommy Robinson. All right, and this is what he had to say about this, and I thought this was incredibly telling.
Here's a horrible fact, okay? I was there when we travelled to Romania with Andrew Tate. I was in the hotel room next door. When I walked out in the morning when we were leaving, Suffolk's at the door kissing him, okay? So when you read what she says there, like he's raped her, that's what she's implying. A bit weird to be kissing him on his door and then get in the car and message him the whole way. Insanity. Absolute bullshit.
So anyway, this is just his witness testimony. It's a claim. She said yes, he said no. A witness came in and said yes. Again, I am a very simple man. I believe in innocent until proven guilty, and in my opinion, I don't believe claims until there's some sort of evidence to them. I am inclined to think that it's not true, even though I think that Andrew Tate is actually a rapist, based on, you know, things that he directly said. He admitted to all of this shit. So, Actual Justice Warrior, fantastic channel on YouTube, made a video actually covering the Lauren Southern situation. So, we're gonna be doing a deep dive into this. Let's see what we got, all right? Let's see what we got.
Well, hello there. I'm not Lauren Southern, and welcome to Fascist Time. Today we are going to be finding out if the Australian public would like to execute known fascist Lauren Southern.
After a long hiatus, Lauren Southern is officially back. ? Maybe, not really. Well, she's released a book, and if I actually time the release of this YouTube video appropriately, it should go up on July 15th, 2025, the same day that her book drops. And of course, it's a 50-50 chance I will completely mess up the timing on that, but regardless, she has released a book entitled...
Yeah, so he was on time.
This Is Not Real Life. It ends up chronicling her journey from before she was internet famous to an overnight internet sensation, and of course, it goes through the various steps along the way, including when she had to pull away from conservative media, her return, her suspicions about tenant media while she was working there, and all these different various things that happened to her over the course of her lengthy career. Now, full disclosure, I actually found out about the existence of this book months prior to any kind of notification to people out there that it was going to be released, and this is because in one of the chapters, I was actually featured in the book, and because of that, Lauren reached out to me, sent me those pages, and ensured that she did the appropriate redactions in order to maintain my privacy. And to be clear, when I got those chapters...
Oh shit, we're getting a real deep dive! Yo! That's why I like this guy. He does a really good job in his videos.
I was initially very disappointed. First of all...
Bro, I told you she was a grifter. All these fucking... Dude, I don't know what it is with, like, women in conservative media, but, like, why are, like, half of them grifters? Like, what's going on? Again, not trying to be rude here or anything, but, like, what's going on, guys? It's like, I am a woman, and I am a conservative, which is why you should always respect your husband, and always be pure, and be a virgin. Anyway, I had sex with every single person I could find. It's like, okay, dude. All right, bro. Okay.
It was chapter 23, and I had assumed, just based on who I am, that obviously the dedication page would be to me. Obviously, she would write that I would be her inspiration for her entire career.
That's what I would
think. But in reality, that didn't really make all that much sense, considering she started her YouTube channel years before I ever had this YouTube channel. And of course, maybe, just maybe, you guys might get the assumption from reading the chapter that I'm actually included in that it's more about the fact that Donald Trump was shot on the campaign trail the same day that I ended up getting married, and therefore it is a superficial connection to say the least.
All right,
but I'm just gonna tell you, and maybe it's not in the book, maybe I'm making this up for comedic purposes. If you read between the lines, you will clearly see that I am probably, if not definitely, the smartest, most important figure in the entire story. Again,
I believe him. him. I believe him. I definitely believe he's probably right.
And just kidding, guys. Just having some jokes. Now, of course, there are some serious things in this particular book. There's a particular set of allegations that I cannot go this whole video without addressing. So
all right, let's do it. Let's do the Andrew Tate shit. And I'm curious to see what this entire book is about. Because, again, my opinion is that this is two retards fighting. And the only winner is me.
So we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about this. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money.
Give me the money.
Okay?
Should we kill Lauren Southern?
She's like the blonde, like political.
Yeah, she's the Nazi that's coming here with a far right event.
I'm not sure if we should kill her, but I don't think we should be listening to what she's saying.
So
yeah, she's really proud of that Nazi title. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about conservative female like commentators that they are like just like maybe it's just purely speculation on my side, but I feel like it's actually predominantly grifters. Like, right? Like, could you give me an example? I don't want to be rude here or anything. Could you give me an example of a conservative female commentator that's not a grifter? Like, I want one. I don't know if this is anecdotal or anything. Brett Cooper. Great example. Brett Cooper's great. Yeah, Brett Cooper's amazing. All right, there we go. I'm really glad we found somebody. Okay, thank God. Whoo! I got scared there for a second. I felt like there were just two. Okay, all right.
Right off the top, I just want to make something 100% clear. I'm going to give this book a strong recommend. I have not made it all the way through the entirety of the book, but there's certain chapters that I find to be incredibly interesting, like when the whole Tenet media situation was popping off in the chapter called Jason, where Lauren is essentially being interrogated and intimidated by an agent, and we get really close and intimate looks at her mindset in this particular situation.
I have everyone in my chat mentioning different people right now, by the way, and I don't want to say anything, but like, y'all are crazy, bro. First of all, Shoe on Head is not a conservative at all in any way, okay? Not a conservative even a little. Someone said Tommy Lauren. Bro, are you fucking retarded? Tommy Lauren, the girl that's anti-feminist but says that the real reason why girls aren't dating guys is because guys are fat slobs in their mother's basements? Her, right? Like, what are we doing, guys? All right, again, there's something crazy that goes on.
Including
Anna Kasparian is a far leftist. Again, you guys are all retarded.
Her strapping a DJI mic to her underneath her clothing in order to record what is going on in these conversations because she's absolutely terrified of being entrapped by the feds. So we get a good look at this whole investigation. We get to see the dirty tactics of the government. We get to hear about them basically threatening her access to her own child in response to her refusal to cooperate. And honestly, she could have just played the role of the tough girl, I'm gonna fight back against everything. But in reality, she admits throughout the course of this particular chapter that she was actually intimidated enough to the point that she was seriously considering trading with this federal agent.
All right, that sounds interesting. Again, the issue with these people is if they're known liars and grifters, why would I ever trust them? Right? That is literally the issue. Oh my God. Like, it's so difficult.
So it gives you a real look at the dirty tactics of the feds. You also get a look at the dark underbelly of conservative media. And I think I've described Lauren like this in the past, but she gives like kind of the vibe that you would get from a typical noir character where they come from a small town. In this case, it's Canada land. They end up in the big city. In this case, it's conservative media. And essentially they get swallowed up by the big city. Now, of course, in those noir films, oftentimes the girl at the center of this ends up getting killed, and then the mystery is to solve her murder or...
Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Is this foreshadowing? Please don't be foreshadowing, man. That's diabolical. What about Kirsche? Kirsche's a VTuber. We don't know if she's a woman. What about Blair White? We don't know if she's a woman either. I'm sorry. I had to. That joke was too good. It was too good. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Something of the sort. In this particular case, Lauren's spirit seems to be the thing that was killed, crushed. But, of course, she ended up making it through the other side in a very intimate look at her life and at her experiences in conservative media. Again, not a lot of people write like this, or not a lot of people in conservative media write like this. Not a lot of people are willing to tell you that when they were under contract to produce this many videos at this amount of time, that they felt like at some point they were just paying the bills. They weren't actually trying to be creative.
Wow, this is a crazy deep dive, actually. Holy. This is really interesting. Again, see, here's the thing. conceptually, this book sounds fucking fascinating. It really does. Like an inside look at the dark underbelly of conservative media. It sounds really interesting because obviously there's a lot of grifters and propagandists out there, like without a shadow of a doubt. However, what if you're just a liar? Like, what if you're just a liar?
Or engaging with content, essentially they became a slave to the algorithm. And as somebody on the content creator side of this, I definitely can relate to the desire to produce more in order to be successful on these various platforms that just demand more stuff from you, and how you try to hold on to what actually brought you to the dance. You try to hold on to things that you care about, but oftentimes, as I've experienced myself, your failure to just go off of a headline and just give the people what they want ends up damaging you financially. Again, I relate to the idea that I could be significantly more wealthy if I just pandered 100% of the time. This is something that Lauren struggled with, and it's different when you actually have a child.
This is completely accurate, by the way. Pandering is easily one of the greatest things anyone could do. I don't want to be that guy, but anyone that is, I'll give you an example. Like, there are litmus tests, okay, to see if you're a panderer. All right, and if you're a grifter. Okay, there are certain things that if you fail them, you know that they are unprincipled people, okay? Like, for example, if you're against the idea of the American government cutting Doge, then you're retarded. Like, you know the Doge thing? The people that are, like, cutting funding to Iraqi Sesame Street? Like, if you want more Iraqi Sesame Street, you're a retard grifter, okay? You are actually insane. That's one, all right? That's my opinion. And on the other side, if you don't care about the Epstein case because Trump told you not to care about the Epstein case, then you're probably a grifter as well. I am telling you, man, this is actually the retard detection. Retard detection skill is a truly important ability. There are some ways that you could just be fully acknowledging that there's crazy bullshit. I'm just saying.
To provide for, and you have all of those different various pressures. So again, very interesting look at what people go through on this side of the content creation sphere. And also for me, as somebody who, you know, started my channel when I was older, after I was age 26, for me, who's somebody who still hangs out with the people that I knew before I was an online person, and I don't really commingle all that much with other creators, it was interesting to read somebody who was basically the opposite. And
that is really interesting, because to be honest, I definitely collaborate with people, like I communicate with other creators, but I don't commingle. Like there are many different types of content creators that collaborate. Some collaborate in their life, you know, they move in with other content creators. Their entire life revolves around other content creators that they're always collaborating with. And honestly, it's a little scary. It really is. And those people are absolutely gonna probably get pulled into this fucking ride. And she commingled. she commingled. In fact, I would argue that she commingled with everyone.
And did everything, in my opinion, wrong in the opposite direction, and fully embraced the lifestyle and being around all these other e-celebrities, admittedly to her own detriment. So again, hard recommend on this particular book. There will be links in the description where you can get a copy of it. And again, it's something that I think will be interesting to a lot of people, but especially if you're interested in the content creator side of things and you like the innuendo and conspiracies related to the feds, surveillance, how political activism is treated, and how somebody who is an idealistic young person can get beaten down by the system. But
yeah, honestly, I find that really interesting. I do. It's a topic that interests me. It's just, the issue is, I don't know if it's an unreliable narrator, you know?
That being said, of course, there is a major thing that is going to take all of the headlines of this particular book, and that is a couple of chapters that actually describe an encounter, which, by the way, Lauren is accusing Andrew Tate of sexual assault, make no mistake about it.
Damn,
and
bro.
I want to go over those particular chapters,
all right, let's go.
Those particular allegations, because I know a lot of you just want to play the Super Mayor clip and say that they're false allegations, as she would say, and not facts.
Off of hearsay. False allegations. And
now I think it's important to be upfront and give you guys a full disclosure before I get into these particular allegations, and that is the obvious. I consider Lauren to be a friend of mine. She is one of the few people from the internet world that I actually invited as a guest to my...
Honestly, I am happy to hear that, because I want to see the pro-Lauren perspective here, because from my perspective, I see no reason to believe her. Again, and this is from a guy that thinks that Andrew Tate's a rapist. Okay, I really think Andrew Tate is a disgusting human being and a rapist. This is my opinion. But Lauren Southern had sex with everyone. Like everyone, bro.
My wedding, and under normal circumstances, if Lauren had told me what was in this book, the words that I read, I would not press her for more information. I would not demand documentation. I would not ask for medical records, corresponding text messages, or any of that stuff. Under normal circumstances, a friend of mine accusing somebody I don't know from a hole in the wall, that would be good enough for me, again, in the context.
Yeah, as a friend, I agree. As a content creator, you have to be objective, and you can't just jump on allegations, unsubstantiated allegations
of a friendship. And as for Andrew Tate, honestly, I genuinely find it depressing that so many people on the right, especially those who preach family values, would side with somebody and promote someone just because he has a big following.
I completely agree with him. And that is why I made it incredibly clear for the first like 10 minutes of this video that I do not remotely at all in any way support Andrew Tate with any of this. I do not support him. I think he is a rapist and a disgusting human being. I really do. And here, let me show you. Andrew Tate, all right, claims he has conservative values. He just did a podcast with Bonnie Blue. You know, the lady that had sex with 1,000 men in a single day? He just did a podcast with her to promote her porn. Okay? This is the opposite of conservative values. He is a gross, disgusting piece of shit. Probably a pedophile sex trafficker, but that is unconfirmed. All right, he is charged with rape, though. I think he is a demonic entity, a vile human being. You never heard of him as a values guy? Well, then you are missing something. He literally is someone that is out there as a values guy. He promotes himself to promote conservative family values, how you're supposed to be a man and make money and support your wife and have children. Like, he's supposed to be a family values guy, but he's not.
Who calls himself a pimp and made most of his money by getting girls into webcamming, and by his own accounts in multiple different various videos use underhanded tactics in order to do so. Again, you have a lot of people critical of the adult film industry in my audience, in conservative media, and yet this guy who made all of his money through adult films and that particular industry and bringing women to a foreign country in order to make them cam girls, who again describes himself as a pimp, and for some reason this guy gets embraced, and that is something that I absolutely do not care for.
I completely agree with him. Every time I see this guy on like Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson or Benny Johnson or any of these guys, it always makes me wonder, did the grift get to their head? Are they also grifters? Like, it's crazy to think that you want to be the guy that's, like, wholeheartedly supporting Andrew Tate just because he has a lot of followers and clout or whatever.
Or now, to be clear, in the past, I have defended Andrew Tate under certain circumstances.
See, but again, and that's why you need to be nuanced. Just because you don't like a guy, it doesn't mean you immediately believe every allegation against them and constantly are going against that guy in every possible reality. I'm trying to be as objective as I can here. I am trying my best to be objective, and objectively, I think this is a lovely situation of two retards fighting. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I think this is literally two retards fighting situation. And I think it's an incredibly good value to have when you can support people you don't like in specific instances and also be critical of people you do like in certain instances. And if you watched my channel for any amount of time, you'd know this is the case. You know that I like Trump and blast him over the Epstein shit, right? You know that that's a real thing. And also, let me make this really clear, really clear. Anyone that criticizes the Epstein stuff but is okay with Andrew Tate is a grifter. Fact, okay? I don't want to hear any other opinions because they're wrong, okay? Right? You get Tucker Carlson yelling about the Epstein shit, but then he's more than happy to do a meeting with Andrew Tate. Nah, bro. That's some fucking bullshit. Right? You get Candace Owens losing her mind about the Epstein thing, but then she's cool with Andrew Tate. Professional pimp. Get out of here, bro. That's fucking retarded. So that is why, in my opinion, the retard detector never fails.
There was a video or a whole campaign to get him booted off the internet, and they interviewed a bunch of teachers who said that their third graders were not listening to them because they were women, and therefore he needed to be banned from the internet. And I fully stand by the fact that those teachers were ridiculous if they were real. The news media using them as an example of why somebody should be removed from the internet was absurd, and I'm not going to change my opinion on that because, again, in the context of that particular conversation, even if I don't care for somebody, I think that is a very underhanded way to remove somebody from the internet. That being said, conservative media should not be embracing this guy. Red pillars, they want to embrace him, that's totally on them, but it is not conservative to promote a pornographer who, of course, talks about luring in women and has a bunch of different various accusations against him, many of which he has basically admitted to or said something very similar was what he was doing at the time. Now, because of those biases that, again, I openly admit to, I knew that in order for me to cover this book, in order for me to actually go over these chapters, I needed absolutely everything, all the supporting information and whatnot, and essentially I had to treat it if the reverse was true and what it would take for me to believe accusations against somebody that I knew. So basically I had a little role reversal, and then I ended up having to press for all this different various information. And
good shit. Now, again, I wanted to find this clip for you because I think it is important. Right? So Tucker Carlson did do an interview with Andrew Tate. And if you actually look at when they meet each other, because this is crazy. Well, I'm totally bewildered.
I come out and meet you. If I step 1 foot over this line, it's back to jail.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker, a pleasure. Tristan Tate.
Look at this giant smile on his face as he meets Tristan Tate, a man charged with rape, and admits to being a pimp that, in his own words, was talking about having sex with children, in my opinion, from my perspective. Okay, so you have to realize, bro, this is crazy. So yeah, he's super anti-Trump about the Epstein thing, and so am I. But like, how is this not a grift?
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the allegations. So first of all, they are in fact 7 years old. They date back to an alleged meeting that was set up with Lauren and a bunch of other people that she was working with at the time that was supposedly to find this guy in Romania that was going to be an investor into a new media group. And apparently the guy was a big fan of Lauren in particular, so they flew out to Romania where Tate was at the time. And by the way, I've lined up the timeline to check if he actually had the place in Romania at the time that these allegations occurred.
All right, that's good research.
And they were going to meet him to discuss, again, a potential business investment. However, this was later revealed to be a farce, according to messages that I have seen from Tate's own war room after the fact. That being said, they end up having the meeting. It doesn't really seem to be going anywhere. It's not really all that interesting. But later on, when Lauren's back at the hotel, she receives a call saying that they want to have another meeting, however, specifically with her to discuss.
Oh god, oh no. By the way, for those of you unaware, this is literally the Andrew Tate strategy. He's done this in the past. As someone that's covered him extensively, because here's the thing, I agree when he a lot of the values that he preaches, I actually agree with, okay? Like, value-wise, I actually agree with. And he's a rapist. He's a charged rapist. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, he's horrible. It's so horrible, bro. Oh my god.
Business terms, and Lauren, being the naive 22-year-old woman at the time, ends up going to this second meeting under the guise of she's the person who can seal the deal, and then quickly they are moved from said meeting to a bar. She also says that she was consistently told that the rest of her group would be joining them, and eventually...
Yeah, but you have to realize the same thing happened with Candace Owens. All right, so a lot of you don't know this, but Candace Owens actually went to meet up with Andrew Tate once as well. And when they met up, Andrew Tate tried to, in my opinion, recruit Candace Owens' secretary to be one of his sex girls, like one of the girls he pimps around. I'm pretty sure that's a real story. Hold on, I have to find this. I don't want to spread any false information here. God, there is so much, bro. There is so much. All right, so this is a thread on Candace Owens' connection to Andrew Tate, because apparently this is Candace Owens' husband. He apparently was friends with Andrew Tate for long before they ever met each other. Right, there's Tucker Carlson meeting Andrew Tate. There's Candace Owens meeting with Andrew Tate. There is Candace claiming that the Romanian trial begins in 2021. Not true. There's another lie. saying that there's no context. All right, that's a lie. Candace, oh my God, it doesn't stop. Portrays Tates as the victims. Of course she portrays the Tates as the victims, obviously, of course. I've covered this in a previous video, which is why I don't want to go super deep right now. I just really want to find that thing with the Candace was introduced to Andrew Tate, who apparently knew the husband for many, many years. Wait. The night Candace met Tate, her Romanian assistant spent a lot of time talking to him. Candace's assistant told Candace that night she believed Andrew Tate was a pimp.
Many years.
Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania.
Like all humans, he's flawed.
Yeah, he's flawed. I'd say so. Yeah, but anyway, like, it's crazy how this keeps happening. It's crazy how this keeps happening. Candace is based with a lot of her takes. A lot of people are based with a lot of their takes, but they're also retards in other areas, and it should be called out.
She has some drinks, and there may be some
Like, for example, Candace Owens thinks the Jews invented dinosaurs to trick Christians into thinking God isn't real. Did you know that that's a take of Candace Owens? Like, bro, it's crazy what goes on with these people when you actually do research on them.
Implications in this particular story that maybe one of the drinks was drugged or she drank.
And I've made videos on all the people that I'm talking about. So if you want to go back and look at my previous videos on these people, you can. All right? I just want to say I am very, very heavily documenting this shit. I really am trying to make sure that we call retards successfully.
Drank too much. It's honestly not 100% clear. I'm just going off the text right here, and I actually didn't ask or press for the idea that this was the case when I was talking to her. So again, I'm just throwing that out there of what's described versus what you might actually find out to be reality at a later point in time. Now again, that's just my speculation, but here's what it's based on. Despite having only one shot and still working on my vodka soda, I found myself feeling surprisingly intoxicated. Usually...
Wait, is she claiming that she was drugged by Andrew Tate?
Only beer hit me this quickly. I paid no mind as I was fast distracted by conversation. Maybe it was the vibe of the club, or just the fact that I was coming off as a stereotypically fun, carefree blonde, but Donnie, who'd been friendly to me enough as we bantered about politics and online culture, suddenly seemed to take my relaxed demeanor as a green light, or perhaps it was one of the edgy jokes I tossed out. Either way, his tone shifted, and he was far more candid now. Now, Lauren goes on to explain how they start talking about crypto schemes. This isn't really germane to what we're talking about in this video, but yeah, again, these chapters you could check for yourself. And then they end up back in the hotel. Now, Lauren, of course, being hypercritical of herself, ends up saying that she voluntarily got into bed with Andrew Tate, voluntarily kissed him. However, she didn't want to go further, and Tate used some form of strangulation or asphyxia. Again,
well, strangulation does kind of sound like his move. Absolutely, that does kind of sound like the strategy. But I'm not gonna lie. If she went into his bedroom with him and kissed him a lot, who knows? Who knows what the actual truth is, right? At this point, there's no evidence. There's just fucking people talking. And again, remember, this is a conservative influencer, all right? This is someone that's saying women should not be sleeping around.
And I don't know what the technical term, choking or whatever,
I don't know.
in order to force her into the encounter. And of course, she claims that she fought back in these particular allegations. She said no repeatedly. However, she was choked to the point of near unconsciousness more than once, but unknown number of times, and the encounter occurred. And she kind of leaves it there at the chapter in the book. You can read it for yourself. There's actually a moment where she says something to the effect of what happened is obvious, or what I'm saying is obvious, and she doesn't want to get into it any further. Now again, this comes from chapter 11 of her book. It is entitled Confessions, and it reads as follows. It was kind of my fault. I can trace every moment I had the opportunity to turn things around, right up until the point where everything went wrong. The truth is, I could have said no to the strange business meeting overseas, at least until I had more information. I could have refused to go to the club until my friends were with me. I could have turned down the drinks. With whatever little sense I had left, I could have said no to what I foolishly thought was a harmless cuddle when I had no intent.
Dude, like, I hate this shit, man. I really hate this shit. Because, again, this is a he said, she said. She says that he raped her. He says he didn't rape her. I don't know. There's no evidence to any of this. But she went into a harmless cuddle with a fucking pimp sex freak in his bed while she was a little intoxicated. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, come on, bro. See, that's why I think it's literally two retards fighting. I think they're both retards. I really do. Incredibly hot take analysis.
Intention of going any further. But honestly, I'm not sure it would have mattered at that point. This wasn't a case of mixed signals or intoxicated blurred lines. I fought back. I was pleading.
Okay, see, that's crazy. That's crazy. Again, but who knows if it's true? It is a he said, she said. Like, I don't know. Is there a police report? I hope there's a police report at least to at least make it sound like it's not, because very often a lot of allegations, especially on the internet, are a woman regrets having sex with somebody and then retroactively wants to say she was raped. And I think that that's gross. Okay, regretting having sex with someone does not retroactively turn it into rape. Okay, it doesn't. So I hope that there's a corroborating police report at that time. Otherwise, I don't know, man. Going back in time, I don't know, bro. So anyway, ultimately, it is a he said, she said. And I'm not gonna, make any statement either side. It's just hope there's evidence.
I just didn't realize.
But hot take, this is to all my female viewers: don't go into a man's bedroom, or don't go into an enclosed space with a man at all, or touch them, or cuddle. If you don't want to have sex, just don't do any of that. And to my male viewers, don't touch women. Don't touch women. All right? Don't do it. Unless it's very obvious that there's a relationship factor or something like that. Just don't touch women. Don't touch each other. All right, man, don't touch each other. Stop. Don't do it.
As there was a point of
cooties are real.
No return, a moment where my voice would no longer have any power. I'd rather not give a detailed account, so I'll keep it simple. He carried me back to my hotel room and asked me to sleep beside him. I said yes. I was incredibly intoxicated, and some part of me convinced myself that because he was Tommy's friend, he wasn't particularly dangerous.
Have you ever seen a clip of him ever? Oh my God.
It was a poor decision, but it happened. He kissed me. I wasn't expecting it, and I wasn't looking for it, but I kissed him back briefly.
You went to his room to cuddle with him, and you kissed him. Bro, man, this is fucking crazy. Don't do this, ever.
And then told him I wanted to sleep. I was extraordinarily tired. He wanted to go further. I said no, very clearly, multiple times, and tried to pull his hands off of me. He put his arm around my neck and began strangling me unconscious.
Which seems to be his move.
I tried to fight back. He repeatedly strangled me every time. I regained enough consciousness to pull at his arms. I prefer not to share the rest. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy. That's disgusting. But again, here's the issue. The issue is there's no evidence. Right? The issue is there's no evidence.
And of course, because I have to go into journalism mode, this was not good enough for me. Again, 7 years ago, Andrew Tate has all these allegations against him now, so obviously people are going to have a lot of problems with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's a rapist. Hot take. I think Andrew Tate's a rapist, but I don't necessarily believe that he raped this lady specifically.
They're obviously going to agree with her own assessment that she is to blame for certain steps that she put herself in that situation by engaging in. However, one of the things that I find incredibly interesting is that, of course, because I pressed for more information, I was able to receive medical records within the week of the encounter.
That's what I'm talking about! We needed this! Wait, hold up!
And according to these medical records, Lauren basically described the exact same sequence of events. In fact,
this changes everything. This changes everything. Now this isn't I regret what I did 5 years ago and now it's retroactively rape. This means on the side, bro. At the fucking time. There is either a police report or medical reports. Okay.
In fact, unfortunately for me, there's actually a more detailed description of the events that went down on that night. Again, within a week of...
A kiss is not consent. I never said it is consent. I'm just saying you're only hearing her side of the story. All right? That's the point that I'm trying to make. I'm not just immediately believing everything I hear because there are so many liars on the internet.
Her alleging that they occurred, and I didn't really need to read that, but for journalistic purposes, I ended up having to see that. Bro. And I can tell you that the allegations that she made back in 2018 that are in this report, that are documented at the time, are very similar to what was released publicly by Vice years after what she said. So that's the crazy. MO looks to be the same, and again, that is strong evidence evidence in her favor.
Yeah, that definitely changes a lot. I thought that this was the allegation, that she now made an allegation of something that happened 7 years ago or whatever. All right. I didn't think that this was an allegation that was made immediately with hospital reports or police reports at the time. I think that circumstantially is a big difference.
And it is a report at the time. Sheesh. It's documented in medical records, and I've seen them for myself. And by the way, I think that she has sent them to another media outlet that will probably publish more of them, because I'm not a journalist. I'm not going to publish her personal medical records because I don't know what I should be redacting versus what I shouldn't redact. And honestly, I feel a little bit weird releasing personal, detailed medical information of somebody that I consider a friend. Now look, I'm no fan of Vice Media, but the fact is they have this January 4th, 2023 piece, which is nearly 5 years after Lauren would allege in those medical documents an assault by Tate using the method of strangulation. And wouldn't you know it, in these allegations, we have 2 women, and one of them says they were repeatedly strangled by Andrew Tate.
That's
and
crazy.
Again, we also have other articles where these women say that they witnessed him strangling other people repeatedly. So this is very interesting.
Look,
Lauren's allegation that is documented at the time.
It's crazy that it's documented at the time. For me, that changes so many things just based on what I actually believe myself. Again, I think she's a huge grifter. She sleeps around with everybody. Like, that's the problem. Like, that's the problem, man. She admits that she went into the room to cuddle with the guy and kiss him. All right? And she also is known to have fucking slept with everyone. She slept with Destiny. Like, you know? Like, dude. Bro, she's a conservative media person. She rejected Andrew Tate, but was more than happy to have sex with Destiny, bro. Like, you know? You know? Man. So that's why I'm so, like, perturbed by all this. Listen, man, the conclusion is just don't be a hoe. Okay? Don't be a hoe.
Is sort of like corroborated by a different person that she would have never known saying the same thing to Vice 5 years later. Now again, you want to say coincidence, you want to say actually Lauren is clairvoyant, she's just happens to be a psychic, that's on you. But to me, I just find this parallel incredibly interesting. In addition to that, in the book, Lauren describes a war room exchange that actually has a back and forth where they end up admitting that the meeting was in fact a farce. I have seen screenshots of this war room meeting, and again, it seems pretty weird, pretty unusual that in and around this time 7 years ago, before a lot of the allegations against Tate were made public in the first place, that so many details of Lauren's account that appear in the notes of her medical report end up lining up with what's in the war room. In addition to that, there was also text message exchange between Lauren and Tate where she describes that this was not okay, this was not acceptable behavior, and the back and forth at least acknowledges that something happened, although I'm sure Mr. Tate would say that his defense is in fact consent. Now look, I know a lot of you are going to say this is not...
Again, no one knows. That's the problem, man. That no one knows, you know? That's the actual craziest part. No one fucking knows what happened, all right? It's a he said, she said. And it seems like there's circumstantial, corroborative, somewhat evidence that it happened at the time. But realistically, and I think this is the most important part of all of it, 2 retards fighting, subscribe. We get more 2 retards fighting content. It's gonna be amazing. That's
not something that should be adjudicated online in a YouTube video, and I 100% agree with that. I hope and I'm optimistic that Lauren takes whatever legal avenues that she has in order to back up and substantiate these allegations. However, there's going to be...
True. Listen, if this is real, I want her to get justice. It is. Absolutely. If it's not true, I don't like just accusing random people of being rapists. Even if they are rapists.
A lot of additional people that say that Lauren is doing this for the money in order to have some kind of teaser related to her book, create buzz about it. However, she's actually releasing the chapters that detail these allegations for free, and I'm going to try to link them in the description if you want to read the account for yourself. And in fact, here she says that explicitly in the additional note, parentheses, upon completion of this manuscript. I finally decided to leave this chapter in the book. At first, I wrote it just to process my own emotions, convincing myself no one would ever read it. For a while, I thought about replacing parts with dramatized, anonymized scenes in order to avoid drawing too much attention, but after After a lot of reflection, I've
right.
realized I'm done with cowardice. If I'm going to do an honest book, I'll do it right, and this is a big part of my story. Why now, though, is a very valid question. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you're just deciding to tell us this story in your book, ? To make sales? What about the legal cases? Can't believe you didn't help earlier. Now, Lauren responds to these likely questions with the following. I should start by debunking some misconceptions here.
Okay.
First, I will be releasing all of the chapters relevant to Tate for free. It's not about money.
Oh, of course it's about money! Come on, dude! You wrote a book that you're promoting now as your Hail Mary return to politics, not for the money? Listen, man, maybe it's my my Jewish skepticism is raising its ugly head, but like, come on, bro.
And frankly,
this is a fucking game demo because you want people to purchase the game. Okay? All right. You're releasing the demo for free so people could purchase the rest of the content. And the demo is rape allegations against Andrew Tate. Like, we do not need to mince words, okay?
I'd rather not give people another excuse to project their own twisted motivations onto me. Not that I'm too worried about the opinions of anyone who thinks human trafficking and scamming men out of their life savings is some kind of noble vocation.
Yeah, I do agree. Andrew Tate's a piece of shit. I've been saying this for years, and I've gotten so much shit for it, by the way. Because, again, here's the thing. People don't know what I just showed you in the beginning of this video. People think Andrew Tate is just a guy that the Matrix is attacking him. By the way, Andrew Tate did such a good job of laundering his reputation by constantly saying every time he's arrested or charged with crimes, the Matrix attacks him. He is so good at that, people really believe it. People actually believe it. And I get people in my comments being like, I can't believe Nux is part of the Matrix all along. Classic Jew. Like, all right, dude, okay, all right, okay. We got there.
Second, I've always believed these matters should be handled by the legal system whenever possible, rather than turned into a public spectacle. As mentioned earlier, I had no desire to put my face on public claims at first. Instead, I oscillated between denial and my own harsh judgments of women who came forward with similar accusations. Why didn't you go to the police?
Oh, you thought I was joking? That's a real Andrew Tate tweet. Like, dude, like people, I'm telling you, people do not know about Andrew Tate. People don't know about him. This is a real Andrew Tate tweet from like this week. The Jews could never control me. I said no to their bribe, and then I got thrown to jail, and I still didn't shut up. It's all the Jews. It's the Jews in the Matrix, and they're all attacking. This is crazy. This is diabolical shit, man. Like, this is horrifying. Oh my God.
That would be the right thing to do.
I can't believe the Jews forced him to rape those women, allegedly.
Why didn't you go to the hospital? That would be the right thing to do. And ironically, she says her extreme judgment of others pushed me to make some of the right choices early on. She embraced denial, but deep down, she knew what really happened and reluctantly reached out to the UK authorities, feeling it was the right thing to do. They told her that an investigation could only be done in Romania, the country where this actually happened. And of course, she gets in to talk about the documentation that I have reviewed myself and I talked about throughout the course of this video.
All right, let's see what Tectone is talking about right now.
What is the new grok called? Mecha Hitler. All right, so it's very, very, very fucking more.
Mecha Hitler.
I'm playing Uma Musume, but that
Andrew Tate.
And he says some dumb shit, but every now and then he makes a little bit of sense.
That's crazy. Anyway.
And again, I'm hopeful she takes some kind of legal action and does it the quote-unquote proper way. And thankfully, it seems like this is something that she's interested in from the words in her book. If you go to page 87 in the chapters we've been highlighting, it says as follows. I wasn't looking to start a legal battle. I was looking for any interest at all in helping me make sense of what was going on in Tate's compound in a way that would keep me anonymous. Years passed before Tate's antics made it onto the radar of Western authorities due to repeated claims from other women that had nothing to do with me. Eventually, a larger US investigation reached out for my assistance. I provided what information I could off record. I did everything possible while trying to maintain my anonymity, but for the most part, I buried it. I began writing this. Being a witness in any official capacity would have required revealing my identity, something I wanted, past tense, to avoid at all costs.
Understandable. I get it. You know, you go in there with virtuous ideals, and then you end up deciding to become a grifter because that celebrity lifestyle it's too exciting. It's too good. It's too great. Nux, there are real criminal Jewish organized groups. Do you think I'm saying that that Jews are innocent of everything? There are some really awful Jews out there, and I fucking criticize them all of the time. All right, I have made full videos on how George Soros is a snake, okay? That doesn't mean that every time you get arrested in Romania, it's the Jews that are controlling the universe, okay? It's not the Jews that invented dinosaurs to trick Christians like Candace Owens says, okay? What are we doing about this? Come on, guys.
Still, over the years, public exposure started to feel inevitable. Someone I once naively trusted shared parts of my story with journalists without my consent. That disclosure resulted in others posting distorted versions of events online or in published works for political activism purposes, clearly with no real concern about potential crimes happening. Now, that section clearly indicates that Lauren has assisted where she can, to the extent where she got up to the line where she wanted to maintain her anonymity, and I'm absolutely happy to hear that. And presumably, she would be more open to assisting based on the idea that she quite literally published these allegations in a book. She's releasing that stuff for free online for everybody to read, so she doesn't make money off of those specific allegations.
I don't know if I completely agree with his analysis of that, in my opinion. I don't think she released it for free to not make money off the allegations. I think she released it for free to make money off the allegations, because now it's marketing. I am talking about her book because of these allegations, okay? Do you understand what I am saying? It's the trailer. It's the fucking free game demo.
And since the book is published under her name, anonymity is no longer a concern. Plus, the overall tone and tenor of this particular chapter is that she's not going to be a coward anymore. She's not going to hide this.
Again, I would love that if this was some sort of objective book inside look into the fucking degenerate marketplaces of grifters in the media. I think that that's a wonderful thing. The issue is, I think it's an unreliable narrator. It's someone that decided to, you know, use rape allegations that might be true, might not, who knows, as some sort of marketing ploy for the rest of the book. To be like, yeah, the rest of the book is also going to be full of these, like, really juicy tidbits of all the people that raped me. Okay, that's dark. That's extreme. We're not making that joke here. You know, like, but come on.
She's not going to cover this up. She is going to bring it out into the sunlight. So yeah, I think Lauren is heading in the right direction.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Again, he knows her personally. I don't. I hope you're right.
Just a little bit. But I do want to point out that it is very unusual that she is making these allegations about a meeting that occurred when Andrew Tate wasn't even that famous. In fact, Lauren was probably, in terms of internet fame, more famous than him, despite the fact that I believe he had been on Big Brother UK at this time and been booted off. And of course, that he was a kickboxer at some point in time. She was just more famous in this world. And this is all documented at the time through the medical reports. And the meeting specifically is referenced in these war room logs, and I've seen all of this documentation, reviewed all of this documentation for myself, which again is an uncomfortable position for me to be in, to demand all these different receipts and pieces of documentation from someone I consider to be a friend after reading about a horrible encounter that probably is not something that she wanted to discuss with me in the first place. That being said, I'm sure there will be a countervailing explanation about the Matrix, about intelligence agencies being involved. What about the nation of Israel? What does it have to do with this particular case? In my opinion,
that is always the question, isn't it?
Those are all ridiculous. It's a bit.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. See, that's why I like Mr. Actual Justice Warrior. I like him. We're not going to agree on everything. Obviously, he is biased here, and he acknowledged his bias about this. But yeah, he's a normal guy, and I think he's actually very analytical and smart when it comes to analyzing specific problems.
Absurd that she would end up documenting this in all these different various ways years before Tate was famous, years before it was broadly known that these accusations end up surrounding him. But again,
yeah, I think that definitely makes it more credible. The fact that she's making claims like before he was actually charged as a rapist, I think that does do something. That's definitely something. But in general, like, she just slept around with everybody. She's a known grifter. Like, I'm not just gonna believe rape allegations with no evidence. just because I don't like the guy that she's alleging against.
And people are going to believe what they want to believe when it comes to this case, and we will just have to examine the evidence as it trickles out. It does come out and it does come forward. And a lot of people, by the way, in conservative media have invested themselves in the whole Tate, you know, personality or whatever you want to call it.
Too many people are really just endlessly pro Andrew Tate because he has a large community.
So I understand that they're going to go full offense mode. And in fact, Lauren describes maybe an army of like paid hit pieces that will likely...
Okay, I don't know about an army of paid hit pieces, bro. Some people do that shit for free. I don't know about that one.
Come out against her, that of course will do absolutely everything to paint her as a money-grubbing, absolute non-respectable woman, or whatever you want to say. But again, this is actually a small section of this book. I'm highlighting it because obviously if I didn't talk about it, if I didn't press for information, and I promoted all the other interesting chapters around the book, a lot of you would call me out, and deservedly so. I press for information because a lot of you will call me out, and deservedly so, and documentation for the same reason. But again, I actually find the rest of the story much more interesting. I find the pressures of being in conservative media, feeding the algorithm, meeting people who are behind the scenes, not at all what they seem, not at all what they portray publicly, and of course the repeated and constant betrayal from people that you thought were your friends. Now, with all that being said, I want to know what you guys think about this particular book, if you're actually going to get a copy of it.
I probably will not be getting a copy of it until I hear some trusted source, you know, tell me that it's good, but I probably will not be getting a copy of it realistically. I don't trust her on a personal level. I find her unreliable. And, you know, I think that this is like a last-ditch effort to claw back to fame and the spotlight because she fell off. And I don't know. It's just not something that intrigues me when I'm immediately skeptical. You know,
if you have already speed read it, or maybe you read it and you're coming back to this video, how it compares to how I'm pitching it throughout the course of this video. Again, all your thoughts down in the comments below.
Yeah, so realistically, my conclusion in all of this is two retards fighting is truly my favorite genre of content on YouTube. This is actually another two retards fighting situation. I have no biases going into this. I just think that they're both untrustworthy people, and I think that Tate is kind of a monster. That is not a good person to be promoting conservative values to people and should not be normalized. It's just some wonderful guy. He is someone that has been charged with rape multiple times, as far as I know. He also has very credible allegations of pedophilia and sex trafficking against him that he basically admitted to doing on camera himself, as I've shown in previous videos. And realistically, I think the two retards fighting genre of content is eternal. Subscribe for more base takes where I piss off everybody, because let's be real here. I don't do this to just make the grifting opinion. If I would not be making... I would not literally be at war with everyone. Subscribe to the only YouTuber that's at war with everyone. And more downfalls. More downfalls are coming. It'll happen. Andrew Tate's gonna probably end up in jail at some point. He'll blame the Jews. I can't believe the Jews convinced him to rape people or something. And we'll see you in the next one, gamers. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fan.